Hello, guys. Thank you for joining me again for USPS Hiring Timeline 2024 Part 2. And this part is dedicated for the fingerprinting. In Part 1, I left off at the conditional job offer and fingerprints, where the email says, fingerprint applicant, reply with your full name and your first choice for a fingerprint appointment, requesting a specific day, date, and time based on the schedule below. So they actually send you dates and time, right? And you have to select from the selection that they give you. You're not telling them when you want to come. They're showing you the options, and you're supposed to reply back to this email and let them know which one works for you. So obviously, if you want the job, you are going to respond. So you're going to reply to that very email, and you're going to do exactly what they said. They said to reply with your full name and your first choice, right? So you're going to do your first and last name, and you're going to let them know. So whatever dates that they have, you're going to choose what works best for you, and you're going to reply and let them know that. Don't forget to put your first and last name in there, because they don't know who you are if you send the email without your first and last name, and they're not going to play the game of trying to figure out who you are. This is a generic email. As you can see at the top, it doesn't say your name like the other emails that they send. So once you follow the directions that they're requesting and you let them know which date and time works for you along with your first and last name, then they're going to send you a confirmation email confirming that, okay, this is what you said, this is what it is, and be there. So another thing that I forgot to add, when I did my fingerprinting, which I will share that story later, but the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because they had a completely different attachment in there. Now the attachment is these two things right here. Let me show you the first one. So what you're looking at is an Excel sheet from the USPS. Like, they are serious about getting you in to do your fingerprint. Because I didn't have this back when I did mine in, I believe, when did I do mine again? I think 2021. But yeah, that is a completely different thing from what they're doing now. They're providing you with a list of locations of places where you can do your fingerprint if you do not live in the city of where they're telling you to go. So if you are at a closer location, then that's where you can let them know so you can do your fingerprint, which I think is amazing. They understand that people sometimes apply to positions that are an hour or two away. Like, some people are willing to drive that far, okay? You have some dedicated people out there that do what they have to do to survive. So the second document that they send, it has a bunch of names and phone numbers on there. So obviously I'm not going to show that, but what I'm showing right now is a list of what they want you to bring to prove that you are you. Not only that, but they also want you to prove that you are authorized to work in America, that you are legally supposed to be in America to work. Because the post office doesn't discriminate against anyone. They are ready to take you in. So this is why they're going through this process right here, to make sure that all is well. So it's the day of your fingerprints. You're excited. You don't know what to expect. But you do know what they're expecting, because in that same email that has the time, the one that I was emphasizing about, make sure you put your first and last name in there, where they give you the locations and the times. In that same email, it says only the fingerprint applicant will be allowed in the area. Others, including children, are not allowed in the building. Then the second part says, it's listed as 1 and 2. So 2 says, please dress appropriately, and you must wear closed shoes or sneakers that cover your feet. Ladies, do you know those shoes that you're like 2 to 3 of your toes are peeking out, however your feet are covered? Don't even do it. Just put something on to cover up all your toes. Don't leave one or two to peek out. Just do what the people say to do. So because people are applying from all over the world, your fingerprinting experience may differ from mine. However, the end goal, regardless of where you are in the world, is that your fingerprints are going to get taken. If you have everything that they told you to bring and you do everything that they say and you're on time and you show up at the right place, you will get your fingerprints taken. So my experience was, I would say maybe 2 hours. I was there for about 2 hours. It was a classroom setting and it had a lot of people in there, even though at that time, that C word, that thing that we're dealing with, that's not as bad as it was back then in 2020 and 21. That they had the precautions set up where everything was, 6 feet away and all this stuff going on. However, there were much more people in there that I thought that would have been in there. So first you go in, you're waiting, you're in a waiting area. They come and they call your name. You have to sign in, obviously, right? Because they have to know that you're there. You sign in. Someone comes and they check it. They get to your name. You guys go in group by group. It might be like two by two, 5 by 5, whatever the situation is. You go. Mine was a classroom setup. I went in there. There were, like I said, it was filled in there in that big room. And there were women in there that worked for the post office who were mean. They're mean, okay? They're not nice and friendly. So that's how they are. You go in there and you do what you have to do. And then they let you fill out some paperwork. So it's not just fingerprinting. You're going to also be filling out these sheets of paperwork. And then before you know it, it's over. And then you go home and then you wait for them to email you and tell you that you've completed the fingerprints, right? So once that happens, the waiting game begins. And then next thing you know, you start acting like the obsessive boyfriend or girlfriend, keep checking your email to see if the post office reach out to you. Look, I've been there. I know what it's like. I know you really want the job, but really, just relax. I know it's hard. I was checking my email a lot as well, and I know most of you guys will do the same thing. And then time will run out, and the next thing you know, they're calling you in for correction, emailing you to let you know that it's time for your orientation, because you will not get a phone call from them. So don't even look for that. So in case if you didn't know, there is no official interview. This is the process. This is part 2. If you haven't heard part 1, go back and look that up and check it out. There is no official interview process. As I always say, the assessment is your interview. That's your interview. Because the questions that they're asking you on the assessment, they're asking you as if you have worked in the post office for one day prior to getting the assessment. Like, they're asking you thorough stuff that you would have to work there to know some of those things, which is why I offer a live study guide that you can take while you are taking the 477 assessment. It literally helps you through from start to finish and guaranteed to get you a 98%. So that means that you are getting that job, because they only pretty much put out one position per location and one position at a time. So you don't have time to go in blinded, going to take the 477. You've never worked at the post office before. So why go in and play games as if you have been in the post office before? This obviously I'm talking about people who've never worked at a post office, right? You don't want to go in blindsided. So make sure you check out my membership program, and that would be level 5 is where there would be a live study guide. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching this audio/video. Until next time, take care.